We are recording. Okay. I just got done watching episode 4 of Paradise. And oh my gosh. I just. Whew. I feel like that's an episode you have to sit with. It's like. The beginning of the episode started in such a way. Actually, let's go back. So at the end of episode 3 of Paradise, we learn that the therapist lady, I haven't learned her name yet, sorry, tells Xavier, aka Sterling K. Brown, that he can't trust Billy Pace, his friend. The title of episode 4 is Agent Billy Pace. And I find it interesting that it's called Agent Billy Pace versus Billy Pace. Because it's like, is he an agent? Did he kill the president? So I started out this episode still wondering if not wondering if he was guilty, already thinking he was guilty. I was already projecting guilt onto him. I was like, this man is suspicious. I don't believe for a second that him and the female agent were playing they probably killed the president together, or they were having sex in another room. They can't have been playing He turned off the cameras, all of that. So I'm already like casting judgment on him. We go back and we learn his origin story and that he was in juvenile, he killed his uncle, who before the dialogue told us it was the uncle I had already thought father. So basically he kills his father figure over a dog. I mean, it's more complicated than that. But anyway, he ends up in juvenile detention. So then I'm like leaning into the episode like, wait, if this man started out in juvenile detention and he's a criminal, like for manslaughter, how do you end up on the Secret Service detail of the president? Like, how do you go from juvenile detention to Secret Service? Like, what is that pipeline? Like, is that okay? Is that ethical? Is that moral? Sure, there's like giving someone a second chance, but at the same time, it's like something's not adding up to me. Basically, dude ends up in this like mercenary group, very highly toxic masculinity. They're killing all these people across the world. And that was so sad to me because this man just gets out of prison and you can tell he has a lot of PTSD and just a lot of like childhood stuff to solve. And they use his vulnerability and they use that like against them to just go killing people. So I'm just like, again, why is this man Secret Service? I like that this episode kind of explored the relationship between him and Xavier. So then I was starting to warm up to Xavier and feel for him and see the good qualities of him. Then we get to the part in this episode where they talk about there was like a mission where where 4 volunteers, I'm guessing mostly scientists, or at least one of them was a scientist, the wife of the bartender. They leave the hole to go and see if there's life. And next thing you know, it's Billy who killed all of these people. And the last person he kills, who's like the bartender's wife, is like, please, they need to know the truth. And he shoots them. Which is wild to me because he has like a long ass gun, like an AK-47. I don't know rifles. I don't know the names of things. But he has a gun. And I'm like, where did he get the gun from? Because it's established that when they enter this new underground bunker world that's inside of a mountain, that they have to surrender their weapons. So technically there's no weapons in this community. But this man has a big old mercenary rifle. So I'm just like, who gave him the weapon? Where are they keeping the weapons? How did that weapon get in to the community if there was like scanners and all of that? So I'm just like, this is getting very creepy, very insidious, very conspiracy. I'm invested. He goes and he confronts Sinatra. And he talks about like, you made me kill these people so that like all hope was gone. Like you made me kill their hope, which I thought that was powerful. It made me think, what is Sinatra's intention with having these people murdered? Because obviously in episode 2 we learn that her son died, and she's like created this world to protect her daughter. So I'm like, is her motivation still the need to protect her daughter? And the idea that like she presents this argument that there are, even if there is life and then there is air, the people that may have survived, it's not going to be a hospitable planet. She talks about the fact that people are going to be like, you know, fighting, what is the term? I forget what the term is, but basically something in limb. I forget what the actual phrase is. But people are going to be fighting each other for resources, which is what a dystopia, actually, like a gritty dystopia is, where it's just like you're fighting for survival. So there's probably people like there's probably law and disorder. There's probably people fighting for different resources, and there's probably maybe people who've established some sort of hierarchy out of who is the strongest person or who's the person that puts the most fear in people. Basically, there is no law, there is no justice, there is no system. It's very, I guess, barbaric and cannibal-like, which I guess is fair to say that should they find out that there's life there and then introduce the people who are the survivors of this dying planet into the community, how that would fuck up the dynamic of the community that is set. Like, right? I guess that is a fair argument that she's operating out of fear. But at the same time, the people in the community have a right to know what is happening above the surface, what has gone on to the planet, what if. Like, if this is truly some sort of a democracy system, which it is not, because clearly the president died, and then the next person who was president was the vice. Well, actually, I guess that is the system. There is a kind of like a line of succession should something happen, I suppose. But with all that said, if this was a democracy, and should the people know, the people have a right to vote on whether they believe they should go and save the survivors, or if they want to go back to the surface and rehabilitate the surface. They have a right to decide if they want to do that or not. I liked Billy's moment with Xavier, and then with the kids, Uncle Billy. The moment he said, "Let me be Uncle Billy for one more night," I was like, oh no. You've literally just manifested your death. Like, that was foreshadowing for me. And I was like, oh. And he's playing with the kids, and this heartfelt moment. Next thing you know, he's back with, again, I don't have her name memorized yet. Need to learn characters' names. But with the female agent that he's dating, sleeping with. And he goes in, and they're having that little moment. I was like, as soon as he opened the door and he went home, I was like, she's the killer. I know she's the killer. Like, he sits down, he drinks his beer, he's going on talking about the kids, and then slowly starts having that heart attack. And meanwhile, she's just like having her little funnel cake. I was like, whew. That is it's so interesting, because in his mind, he had assumed like, oh, there is no man. He probably projected a man who could kill him, because he's literally, it was established before, there was this huge ass man, and he literally killed that man. Like, he's just like, there's no man I can't kill, right? Not understanding that, like, first of all, the person who's going to kill him is not a man, and second of all, you don't have to kill a person face to face with violence, with a gun, with your fist, with whatever. It's as simple as drugging them. Or as simple as, like, oh, you're drinking a beer. He basically, in theory, killed himself, even though she set the scene. And I found that kind of tragic because it was like, here he was talking about like there is nothing on that planet that was for him. He is someone who grew up without belonging, and he's suddenly in this world where he does belong. And even though he wouldn't want to go back to that other world, he's still deciding that he wants to do the right thing and telling Xavier the next day, and he makes that sacrifice only for him not to see it through, because then he's murdered. That was a gut punch. That episode was a gut punch, and it gave me shivers. And whew, so many thoughts, so many things. And my goodness, Sinatra, whoo! Don't mess with an angry woman. Don't mess with a mama bear. Yeah. Anyway, I cannot wait for episode 5. That was my recap of episode 4 of Paradise. Okay. Catch you guys later. Till the next one. Bye.